Oh my gosh, I just want to smoothly pour this out on our nacho. Ah! Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hey everyone, I'm Sav and this is Lagom Eats. To celebrate Cinco de Mayo, we're gonna be making steak nachos. These nachos are loaded. They've got queso, melted cheese, pico de gallo, corn, black beans, lime crema, and of course that juicy lime butter steak. These are absolutely essential at your Cinco de Mayo fiesta. Let's take a look at the ingredients. To make my homemade tortilla chips, we're gonna be using 12 corn tortillas, some corn oil to fry them in, and sea salt. To make our lime butter steak, we're gonna use a 10-ounce strip loin steak, 1 teaspoon of paprika, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, salt and pepper. We'll sear it off in some vegetable oil. And for the lime butter, we're gonna use 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, and 1 clove of garlic. For the queso and the rest of the toppings, it's 16 ounces of shredded cheddar and Monterey Jack, 1/2 cup of black beans, 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1/2 cup of corn, 1 cup of whole milk, 1 red onion, 2 tomatoes, 2 avocados, a jalapeno, 1 lime, 2 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of butter, and salt and pepper. Let's get cooking. To make our homemade tortilla chips, we're first gonna start out by pouring our oil into a pot with a candy thermometer on the side so we know how hot our oil is. Go ahead and pour it in. Just gonna use the rest of this oil. Save this container though so you can pour the used oil into it instead of down your drain. Turn on our stove. Get this oil heated up. We want it to be 350 degrees before we put in our chips. While that's heating up, let's cut our tortillas. So I'm using really thin corn tortillas here. If you have thicker ones, you may need to dry them out a bit before you fry them, because otherwise they may get kind of chewy instead of crispy. But these work really well for chips. We're gonna cut these into 1/8. So just cut them in half, then cut that in half, and then cut that in half again. So our chips are gonna look like this. Our oil is 350 degrees. We're gonna put in our chips. And they're not gonna take very long, only about a minute per side. You're gonna have to work in batches. My pot isn't that big and we're making a lot of chips. Let's go ahead and flip these guys over. Already getting crisp in there. They aren't gonna change color drastically, so don't think they're gonna look like a super dark brown. They're not, and they're gonna be overcooked if you let them cook that long. All right, let's get these out of there. We're gonna put them on a paper towel lined baking tray to soak up some of that oil. See, they're just barely changed in color. All right, let's put in another batch. Right. We are done frying our chips now. We need to salt them. Sprinkle it all over. Nice and salty. Okay, let's set these aside while we finish the rest of the nachos. Let's chop up our veggies. We'll start with our onion. We're just gonna dice this. So this is going in our queso and our pico de gallo. So we're gonna put some of this in a bowl for our pico de gallo. So probably about half-ish. We probably don't need all of it though. Then we're gonna put some in another bowl for the queso. Let's chop up our tomato. We're actually gonna scoop out some of these seeds. So just use your spoon and get out as much of the seeds as you can, because all that juice is gonna be in our pico de gallo. We don't want that. Let's dice up our tomato. Okay, we're gonna put these into our bowl with some of our onions. This is gonna be our pico de gallo. Lastly, let's chop up our jalapeno. Be careful, guys. Don't get the juice on your hands and then touch your face. We're gonna put half of this in the bowl with just our red onion. This is going in our queso. And then the other half is going in our pico de gallo. Let's go ahead and finish off our pico de gallo real quick. We're gonna cut our lime in half. Half of this is for the lime crema, so just set that aside. The other half you can squeeze into our pico de gallo. Add your cilantro. I'm gonna leave a little bit to garnish. Let's give this a stir. Season with a little bit of salt. Give it a stir. Let's make our lime crema while we're here. Take your sour cream, squeeze your half of a lime in there. Let's mix this up. Season with a little bit of salt. Give it a stir. And then we're gonna put it in our squeeze bottle. Let's make our lime butter steak. We're gonna start by making our little seasoning mixture. Take some of our chili powder, cumin, paprika, cayenne. Remember, this is spicy, so if you don't like a lot of spice, don't use as much. If you like more spice, use more. Some salt. And pepper. Mix it up. And we're gonna cover our steak with it. Okay, rub it all over. Make sure you get the sides. All right. Let's make the lime butter. Put your softened butter in a little bowl. Let's mince our garlic. We're gonna squeeze our lime in there. Just cut it in half. You wanna use about a tablespoon, which is about how much you get out of one lime. All right, let's mix this together. You wanna make sure your butter's softened, otherwise this is gonna be really difficult for you. All right, so see, it's kind of like whipped butter now. So this is what we want. I'm gonna set this aside for now. Okay, let's put in our oil. All right, so you can see it's kind of starting to smoke. We're gonna put in our steak. We're not gonna sit for that long, probably only like 2 to 3 minutes per side. I want the steak to be a little bit on the rare side because actually we're gonna put it back into the oven on top of our nachos and it's gonna cook even more. So I'm probably gonna cook this steak to about 115. So then when it rests, it's probably gonna come up to about 120, 125. So it's rare, but when we put it in the oven, it's gonna cook more and become more medium rare. Okay, let's flip this thing. Get that beautiful crust. Now we're gonna add our butter and we're gonna baste our steak. Go ahead and baste that steak. Get it nice and brown. Let's get the sides real quick. Okay, we're gonna take that off and let it rest. While the steak's resting, let's make our queso. Turn on your stove to like medium heat. Let's melt our butter. Add in our onions and jalapenos. We'll mince up our garlic, put it in there. And we're gonna saute this for about like 3 minutes until the veggies start to soften. Ooh, that garlic. Smell that. Our veggies have softened. We're gonna add our flour. We're making kind of a roux here, so When we add the milk, it's gonna thicken and create a delicious queso. Stir that in, let it cook for about a minute until all the raw flour is cooked off. So basically what we're making here when we make queso is a bechamel sauce, so it's a white sauce. Obviously we added jalapenos and red onions, that's not your typical in a bechamel sauce. Let's add in our milk. We're just gonna go slow here and constantly stir it in. Keep stirring. Don't want any lumps. Okay, we're gonna let that thicken a bit. Let it come to a simmer and it'll thicken. Whoops. All right, our bechamel is ready. You know, because look, it coats the back of a spoon like that. And if you drag your finger through it, it stays. Let's add in our cheese. We're gonna add in probably about a quarter of this maybe. Let's see. Probably like a cup right there. Mix it in. Look at that, yummy. That'd be amazing. God, I love queso. Smells so good. Got jalapeno and cheese. Oh. All right, look at that. Ugh, yummy. That looks incredible. Let's season with some salt. In my breakfast burrito recipe, I was roasting Gordon Ramsay about how much butter he puts in his eggs. And then I was looking and I realized it looks like I put so much salt in all my dishes. You guys must think that my dishes are super salty, but I promise you they're not. I'm using kosher salt, not regular table salt. Table salt and sea salt are way saltier than kosher salt. Let's try this. That is delicious. Cut into our steak. Perfectly cooked. Nice and pink. Steak is all diced up. They've been such good boys, so I'm gonna throw them a little piece. Ready, Greg? Nice. All right, you too, Chunks. Oh, close. Let's assemble our nachos. Take some of these chips, spread them out. All right, we'll top with a little bit of our queso. And then some of this shredded cheese. All covered up. Can't stand when I've got nachos and there's like a ton of chips that don't have any toppings on them. Gotta make sure you maximize the chip to topping ratio. Put a little bit of these black beans on there. All over. Some corn. Now you can use canned corn or frozen corn. I just boiled 2 ears of corn for about 6 to 8 minutes and then cut off all the kernels. That's why if you see these little hairs, I promise that's not my hair. That is the corn little hairs. Let's put some more of these chips on top. More of this delicious queso. All right, put some more of this shredded cheese on top. Like my nachos nice and cheesy. That's why we're using both queso and shredded cheese. More black beans. And more corn. So this is gonna go in an oven at 350 degrees for about 5 minutes. We're gonna let the cheese melt a little bit before we put on the steak. Yum, these look incredible, but they're not ready, obviously, just quite yet. We gotta add our steak, sprinkle that all over. Okay, now it goes back into the oven at 350 again for about 3 more minutes to heat the steak and finish melting the cheese. Look at these nachos. They are almost ready. Let's finish them with all of our toppings. Sprinkle your pico de gallo all over these guys. Let's put on our diced avocado. Lots of avocado on there. Because who doesn't love avocado? We're gonna squeeze our lime crema all over. Whoa. Gosh, dang. Okay, whatever. Lastly, we're gonna garnish with a little bit of cilantro. I can't wait any longer. I gotta try one of these, except I want a little avocado piece. Got some steak and cheese, and oh no, my steak. All right, let's try this. I mean, how does it get any better than this? Steak, cheese, beans, avocado, sour cream. I could eat these all day long. Wash it all down with the strawberry margarita. Can't go wrong. Happy Cinco de Mayo! I hope you guys enjoyed my steak nachos as much as this guy does. The full recipe can be found on my food blog at logomeats.com. I've got new delicious dishes coming out every Thursday, so hit a like and subscribe below. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, Dove. Do you want one? Are you ready? What about a little piece of steak? We'll give you a little piece of steak.